Let's solve this problem with the quadratic formula. I've gone ahead and written the quadratic formula here, but you'll notice that it has A's, B's, and C's in it. So we're going to have to figure out first what A, B, and C are in this equation. So remember that quadratics are given, well, I should say, we have to get them into the format where you have x squared and x and the constant all on one side. This is going to allow you to identify what a is. So you can see that a here would be 1 because it's understood to have a number in front of the x squared there. And then it's easy to see that b is the number in front of x, which would be -6 in this case. And then the constant here, c, would be -4. Now these three values, once you've identified them, you're going to plug them into the quadratic formula here. So be very careful with your signs. You've got x equals -b. Well, -6 is going to be +6. Then you've got -6 going in for b, so you got -6 squared. Notice I'm putting it in parentheses because I've got to square the -6. And then I've got -4 times a times c. And all of that is under the square root. And then divided by 2 times a. So 2 times 1. So let's clean up a little bit underneath the square root. And when I say clean up, I just mean we're going to evaluate. I'm going to leave the 6 alone out here. And then I'm going to do -6 squared. You can easily do this in your calculator, but make sure you have the parentheses around it. So -6 squared would be 36 minus, and then let's multiply these three numbers. So 4 times 1 would be 4, times -4 would be -16. And remember, that's underneath the square root. And then in the denominator, we've got 2 times 1, which is just 2. Keeping that same line of thought, we're going to simplify underneath the square root by adding the 36 and the 16. That'll give me 52. Now, I think the next step is the step that most students have trouble with, and that is simplifying your radical. So you've got to think of 52 as a perfect square times a number. So just to recall, perfect squares are 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. And because 52 is actually 4 times 13, we're going to rewrite 52 as 4 times 13. And the reason I do that is because I can see that 4 is a perfect square. So that means I can take the square root of it. Obviously, that would be 2. And then finally, let's split these up into 2 fractions. Okay, so I've got x equals 6 divided by 2 plus or minus 2 square root of 13 divided by 2. And then you can easily divide by 2 on those. You get x equals 3 plus or minus the square root of 13. And you've solved it by the quadratic formula there.